Welcome again. I'm glad that you've been following us. Today we're going to be talking about things that doesn't get often talked, and that's about male rape. We will discuss how common it is. We will look at the reporting rates. We will looking at who are the perpetrators, what does the criminal justice and investigators, the police do, and the impact on the survivors. So stay tuned, and at the end, we'll look at how you can find compassion to seek help. So it's estimated by the World Health Organization that 149 million men have experienced sexual violence in their lifetime. When you put that in the UK context, you're talking about 0.7% of 16 and over have experienced rape, and about 0.5% have raped or attempted rape before 16, right? So just under 1%, either they've been experiencing rape at over the age of 16 and under the age of 16. So there's a lot of people in the UK. That data increases in the US, reaching a 1.3% of men. Reporting rates are quite difficult because in the UK, about 15% of victims report rape, and that's a combined data of male and female. So what it shows is that it's really underreported. And there is some statistics out there that it says around 7 in 8 men, that is over 85%, do not report rape to the police. So you might be wondering why men don't report rape. So there are 4 main areas. They think the police won't help. They'll report, or they feel they'll be ashamed and they feel embarrassed. They believe the police won't act, and they feared that they won't be believed. So who are the perpetrators? And then there is a stereotype here that is committed by strangers, and there is a number of it. Now, from the investigated cases, the report cases, are around 63% are acquaintances of family members. Of course, that's based on what people have reported and it's been investigated. Around 90% of the perpetrators are male. So it's a male-to-male rape, increasing the unlikelihood of people reporting it or seeking help, because there is that perceived sense that you are less of a man because you maybe have not overcome or save yourself or fight back. And that, when we do work with trauma, with men that they've been victims of rape, we normalize the fight, the freeze, and the fight response, where often tends to be the freeze where it comes in these cases. And then in UK, there is a statistic that 55% of male victims were assaulted by sometimes a partner or an ex-partner as well. All these statistics are primarily based on data that doesn't represent the whole picture. So, does it get investigated? What does the criminal justice do? So, the police in US have been, when people report to the police in US, they report that 62% of the men that report rape to the police officers or the police bodies in the US find them hostile or unresponsive. And that is just about double from what the female survivors feel. So it's 30%, which is a huge number of people who think the police are hostile or unresponsive. That's in the female, and the male is at 60%. So really huge numbers. Really sad to hear that this is still happening. So in UK, in 2024, only 2.7% of rapes recorded. So the ones that 17.5%, only 2.7% resulted in charges. And a case can take up to 2 years. And within that time, if it gets reported, gets investigated, something people don't get support. There is no psychological, there is no mental health specifically for trauma of sexual violence delivered because the services are not there. So, what is the impact on the male survivors? So, 72% experience physical injuries, about 38% report chronic pain, and a staggering 40 to 60% develop PTSD within a year, and 41% experience sexual dysfunction that sometimes is linked to the PTSD symptoms or the pain or the injuries. So what happens is that people may be accessing therapy for pain or physical injuries. They might be trying to find or seek some issues for the experience of sexual dysfunction. However, there is a big gap that we see in the clinic that people don't come, men don't come for therapy for the trauma. So you may be wondering how does or what we can do. So first of all, there is no judgment, there is no shame. In our therapy, in our clinic, we embrace and we are open to the difficulties you bring in, and we work with you to normalize them, which is what this video is doing. Normalize your experience if you have had it, or a relative or a friend. Normalize them, validate them, and understand your unique approach that the male survivor of rape experiences. We then work in the trauma using either EMDR or trauma-focused CBT. We're all trained in trauma therapy, and our sessions are confidential, are flexible, and are compassionate and kind. If you want it, you could check some of the meditations that you're going to be seeing around, and there'll be more coming on imagery for you to feel more. And some information you can check on the podcast, that the link is below, and this will be also in the podcast about trauma and how it presents to your body. So CBT and EMDR are perfectly valid research-based in psychological interventions for trauma, for rape, for sexual violence of any gender. I hope it's been helpful for you to hear all these statistics and is bringing awareness for you to seek support. Thank you very much.